Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a look using only affordable products for oily skin. So first I'm going to spray my face with this mist that I got from TJ Maxx. Now I'll be listing everything down below, so if I don't say the name or the color of something, I'll put it down on the description. For primer, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Matte. It's not the best that I've tried, but it does the job. I mean, I think it's like the best that they have out there on the drugstore kind of end. I'm actually going to be using two primers. One is to mattify my skin and the other one's to help with my pores. Since I have like huge craters, I need like double the protection. So right now I'm just, blending everything in, making sure that everything is nice, smooth, and even, so that way my makeup goes in very smooth, because that is what we live for. So this is the second primer that I'm going to be using, and it's the NYX Angel Veil. This, honestly, it doesn't do a lot for me. I don't know why I'm trying to do the most, but I mean, it's alright. It's not like hurting my makeup, but it's not really doing a lot more for it. Okay, now for foundation, I'm going to be using this Covergirl Clean Matte foundation. I have never seen it. I picked this up probably like 2 weeks ago, and I've been using it, and I'm pretty much in love with it. It goes on kind of oily, so it kind of throws you off, but it honestly keeps me matte for way longer than my L'Oreal matte foundation thing. I can't remember the name. But yeah, so I'm just dotting everything around my face, and I'm probably using way too much, and I just realized that, but oh well. Then I'm just gonna be using a sponge. I got this from Marshall, so it doesn't really have like a brand that I remember, but I mean, it's pretty good. It's not hard. It just, I don't know, it does the job. Just gonna make sure that we blend everything in. You want to make sure that you push everything onto the skin, just to make sure that there's no streaks. Also, you want to blend down from your neck, because a lot of the times the foundation is gonna be a slightly different color than your neck. It's not always gonna be like super perfect, and you don't want it to be walking around like the mask and just having like two tones on your neck. So you just gotta make sure that you blend everything down, just so that way it's like an even layer and people just don't figure out. Also, it's very helpful that you do the double chin, just so that way you can see that everything is blended. I have very small, stupid baby hairs, so I mean, it would have helped if I would have worn like a headband, but I just, live life on the edge, didn't care much for it, but now I see that it's helpful. Here I'm adding a little bit more. Now this foundation is kind of medium to full coverage, but it can be built up. You just gotta be careful, because sometimes I've noticed that it picks up on my sponge, like it gets stuck to my sponge, so I'll get like patches. I don't know why it does that, but it doesn't do it all the time. So yeah, just to be careful when you try to add a little bit more coverage with that foundation. And here I am using the Fit Me concealer. This is one of my favorite by far concealers for drugstore products. And so I'm just, placing it under my eyes, making sure that, I brighten up the face just a tad bit more. You want to look more awake. Now I do it on the side of my nose, since I get like really red on the sides, and then I do it on like the mustache area, just to kind of cover up a little bit of the darkness from my peach fuzz. So yeah, just make sure that you blend everything in. I like to go kind of in line and bring it all the way down to my hairline. I just feel like it adds more definition to the face. I know a lot of people, I've seen some people do it, I haven't seen everybody do it, but that's just the way that I do it. Also, I like to put some of the concealer onto my eyes, just to kind of help as an eye primer. I don't have an eye primer from like the drugstore, so I just didn't really need one for the video. I just kind of used my concealer as primer for the lid. I mean, it works great. You just gotta make sure that you set it, which I didn't, but it would be really helpful if you did. So don't do that. Don't listen to me. Okay, once you have all your concealer blended in, I'm using the Airspun setting powder. Now this I've noticed that it doesn't get me cakey. It's not the best one, but it from the drugstore is the best one that I found. Also, it smells really good. Kind of like perfume, but kind of like a flowery, rosy kind of perfume, or like a soap. I'm not really sure, but it smells really good and I enjoy, you know, the smell of it throughout the day, because you do smell it. I mean, I don't know if everyone's like super sensitive to smells, but I definitely smell it. So first I set my under eye just to make sure that everything was nice and I didn't get any cracks. And then right here I am just adding a little bit for baking, just to make sure that everything stays nice and matte throughout the day, because I'm very oily. I like literally oil all day. Okay, now for contouring my face, I'm gonna be using the Ulta Sculpting stick. This I find that it's very creamy and it's really easy to blend, but you do kind of have to be careful because it kind of gives like an orange kind of vibe. I like to go over with a bronzer, like a powder bronzer that it's not very orange, just to kind of even it out. Okay, and for that I am using a Real Techniques buffing brush. Now this one I find it super easy for like cream contour. Oh my god, I can't speak, sorry. I grew up in Mexico. So yeah, I'm just making sure that everything is nice and smooth, just to make sure there's no harsh lines. Just getting everything into the skin, just blending, more blending. Okay, now using a Morphe brush, I am just dusting the baking powder off, just making sure that we're nice and fluff and smooth. Okay, now for bronzer, I'm gonna be using the butter bronzers, and I need to buy another one. I am like almost out, as you can see. For the brush, I'm using a Morphe brush that I got a long time ago in a BoxyCharm box, but I don't remember the name. But I will list it down below if it still has a name, because I think it's already like faded out. But if I can find it, I will post it down below for you guys. Now with this, I'm just going over my bronzer, just so that way, since it is a cream bronzer, just so that way, you know, it doesn't like set, it doesn't crack, it doesn't get cakey. I'm adding a little bit of that stick under my jaw and like underneath my face, just to kind of give me a little bit more definition. You know, I need extra help with my 10 chins, just, you know, tacos are life, so there's really nothing I can do, so contour has to come in and save the day. Now I'm adding a little bit more of that setting powder, just so that way it, you know, defines my contour a little bit more. It just adds more of a sharper line, because you know we out here cutting bitches, so we just gotta let them know. Now make sure that everything is blended out and that there's no white on there. Now I like this setting powder because it doesn't give me like a flashback with pictures, so that's great. Okay, now for blush, I'm going to be using a crown brush, angle brush, and I am using the blush Luminoso from Milani. This is one of my all-time favorites. This is probably one of the first blushes that I bought, and it's still bomb, especially for summer, since it kind of has like a little shimmer to it, so you know it just gives you some glow all over the face. Now for highlight, I'm going to be using this hard candy. This is a dupe for the MAC Soft Glam or Soft Light, something like that, but it's a dupe for a MAC highlighter. Now this one's very good because it's kind of subtle, but it's also kind of like blinding. My brows, I'm using a NYX brow pencil. Now this is the one that the like little pencil part is kind of angled, is like kind of flat. Now I think this helps out a lot. Well, at least for me, it helps me to create like a sharper brow. My brows are not perfect, but you know, they're struggling, they're doing their best, they're trying, they're out here trying to get it, you know, but one day we'll get there. Now, as you can see, there's a big difference with brow and no brow. And I didn't really show it below, but I did use the Great Lash Clear Mascara for that. Okay, now for the eyes, I'm using this Morphe palette, 35W I believe, and I'm using that first row, that second to last color, and I'm just putting this all over the lid, kind of as a transition color. Also kind of helps set the concealer that I put in earlier. So we're just, you know, blending all over the lid. Now you want to make sure that this just kind of adds color to the lid. It's not a super dark color, but it just makes everything a little more deeper. So when you do go in with a darker color, it helps it transition better. Okay, now for the crease, we're going to be using this other color. This one's a little bit darker. It's still in the little light brown kind of colors. Okay, so this we're just using to deepen up the crease, just to add a little bit more dimension to the eye. Now we are going to just put liner and lashes, so the eye is not super dramatic, but this is just kind of to make it stand up a little bit more. Okay, now for this color, this is the darkest color that we're going to be using, and we're just going to add that on the outer edge of the eye, kind of sort of smoking it out. And I'm grabbing this other brush from, I believe it's also Crown brushes, and this one has two ends, but that fluffier side is a little bit thicker, so it helps on pack on like the darker color, and it just makes it easy for me to blend out. Okay, now I'm grabbing this palette from ColourPop. I don't know the name of this color exactly, but it's kind of like a rose gold kind of shimmery color. Now I'm putting this on with my finger because I find it that it's more intense with the finger, so I'm using my finger to blend in. I'm using it kind of just in the middle of my eye because I am gonna blend out and my brush kind of flew out of my hand. So when we blend out, it kind of helps the color be not as intense, but it still kind of brings a lightness to the eye. You just gotta make sure that you blend it in together so that way there's no like harsh lines between any of the colors. Okay, for eyeliner, whew, this is a tough one. I'm using the NYX liquid eyeliner. It's a matte liner and it has, I don't know why, but this is like the easiest liner to use for me at least. Like the handle is just the right size and it just makes everything so much easier, and it's super black and it goes on like really smooth on the first little like swing that you do, so it just makes it a lot easier for me. Okay, this is me deciding that they're not gonna be exactly the same, but we gotta go for it. And I'm using some lashes that I got, I think from like Miss Me, or I don't remember exactly, but they're from this one store that like almost all their makeup is like $1. Okay, now for the inner corner, I am using this pigment from NYX, and I'm just gonna use it with this tiny eyeliner brush just to kind of intensify the inner corner of my eye, make it look like I'm more woke, make it look like I had my full 8 hours of sleep, which we all know I didn't. You know, we're just trying to fool people out here, make sure that we look nice and fresh and clean. Now I'm gonna be using a tiny buffer brush, and I'm gonna be adding that second color that we used underneath my lash line, just to, you know, tie everything in together, and it just kind of makes your eye look a little bit bigger since it adds like more dimension on the eye, like on the outside of the eye. It makes everything look slightly bigger, just slightly. Okay, now for mascara, I'm gonna be using this L'Oreal mascara, I believe, and I'll link it down below. It's like the one that's a dupe for the Better Than Sex mascara, but I love this mascara. I feel like it gives my lashes, you know, more volume and makes them like be out there. My eyelashes are super dumb, and like sometimes with whatever eyelash mascara I use, they just kind of like weigh them down and I just look like a wet dog. It's just not a cute look. Okay, so I put on my eyelash and apparently I did a very good job. Now for the lip, I am using this lip liner by NYX, and I kind of pushed too hard, so I broke the tip of it. And I did not want to leave my lips. Okay, second try. Sorry if you guys hear like ruckus in the back. It's my puppy kind of just playing with her tail, going a little crazy. Okay, so this is kind of like a nude color, so it's not really to add any color to the lip. It's just kind of to help me outline my lips, just so that way whenever I go in with the lipstick, it doesn't like go crazy. So these are the NYX lipsticks. They're very creamy, very just like a satin finish, and I went in for this very bright pink color. Kind of realized once I had it on that it didn't go, it was just a bit too much for me, but you know, we were already in there very deep, so I just, you know, kind of went for it. So I kind of tried to tone it down with this NYX lip gloss in Creme Brulee. but it kind of didn't do anything. So yeah, we just kind of rolled with it. Alright guys, this is the finished product. I hope you guys like it, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. I hope you did. So thanks guys, bye.